Hello everyone, my name is Manika Saha. I am a postdoctoral research fellow at Faculty of IT, Monash University. This paper has been co-authored with my incredible research team. A brief background about myself: I'm a global development practitioner and human-centric participant design researcher. Although listening to community voice is a core value in HCI for development, we have limited methods to capture the community voice of marginal communities groups within disadvantaged communities. Traditional data collection method cannot bring the most pressing issues faced by communities, especially those who were marginalized. Most of the participant co-design methods try to provide participants to share their views and engage them in emancipatory environments. However, in practice, most of these disadvantaged groups do not know how to express their needs and challenges, and we have limited methods to capture the community voice of these groups. For instance, in rural Bangladesh, women are restricted in their freedom to make their decisions, argue with men, protest, share their desires for their own lives, or even simply voice challenges. Storytelling has long been considered a powerful approach to bring voices to disadvantaged communities. Oral storytelling is the most common practice in indigenous cultures that shares and validates personal, mythical, educational, spiritual, and collective experiences through witnessing, remembering, and sharing stories. Counter storytelling is one of the most significant ways that we found from the literature to give voice to the voiceless. Rooted in critical race theory, CRT, counter storytelling empowers marginalized communities by exposing dominant narratives and amplifying their perspectives, promoting equity and exposing marginalized conceptualizations. The use of participatory and online media technologies to strengthen communities has increased in recent years. Participatory audio voice initiatives have considerable potential to capture and share community-generated voice in domains from education to journalism. Participatory audio voice initiatives have also considerable potential to capture and share community-generated voice. However, there remain gaps in participatory methods for meaningful community participation in terms of capturing and reviewing the stories among the group itself, sharing collective stories, and reflecting community voice for decision making. Despite a reach of literature that has been we found from HCI for discussing participatory media, we still need to learn more about systematic and interactive methods to help design effective engagement to bring together marginal subsets of these groups that they are typically unheard as a collective voice for effective community development. As a topic that directly interests in HCI for development, ICTD, and other disciplines related to development. Now let's talk about our fieldwork in rural Bangladesh. We conducted our fieldwork with marginalized community with 26 women farmers. Our location was in Dimla Upazila of New Farmery district in Rangpur. Dimla is located in Char lands of Bangladesh, a region formed by large river deposits that constantly shift. The region is frequently affected by extreme weather and climate events, and both droughts and floods are common there. We document our women farmer groups activities in 2 days field level workshop activities and field design activities. The 26 women has been divided into 3 groups, and they first work in a large group, define their communication needs, leading to a participatory audio recording for phase 2 in the second day. We had 2 topics to understand the health and agriculture challenges of women farmers faced in their daily lives. We divided the whole field design activities into 2 phases, and I'm going to talk briefly about them in my next slides. Phase 1 actually has 3 steps. The first one is topic familiarization. On the first day, participants were provided with pictorial consent form outlining their research goals, issues, withdrawal options, and informing sharing, use, and storage. Then we understand the views of our women stakeholders on the 2 topics. They had selected, and to start group discussion, we first used printed pictures that depicted their daily lives. Women stakeholders started discussions with each other to reflect on them. In terms of storytelling, stakeholders divided into 3 groups according to age to reflect on, then discuss their agriculture practices, health challenges, and perceptions of the wider community. In facilitating this session, we emphasized counter-collective storytelling, looking for narratives that stakeholders might be reluctant to share outside of the group we had brought together, and encouraged affirmations and elaborations from other group members. We gave them a set of questions on they do, and what challenges they face in agriculture and health to stimulate the discussion. We also gave them notes, cards, and pens to write down their pressing issues. After the group discussion, all of the participants sat in a circle for a discussion where I facilitated the discussion and each group shared its group discussions and stories. During the activity, we took notes on flip charts. The group reinforced each other and further validated the idea that the most unheard stories could be voiced in this setting. After the stakeholders had discussed and settled on the issues among themselves, we surveyed the group to determine what they felt were the most pressing concerns. We made sure that the participants prioritized and agreed narratives as their collective voice from the group. In a second phase, the initial original plan was to use participatory audio recording to capture the short vanities. However, the group wanted to produce something for themselves that was representative of the challenges they faced and that communicated their voice clearly. They wanted to host a radio-style show to narrate their problems, literally capturing their voice in a medium in which they felt familiar while preserving some sense of anonymity. To do this, instead of speaking on the large group, they choose 6 individuals to represent themselves, represent their group, and appear in audio participatory audio recording on the second day. The 6 selected women were actually 2 older women, 2 younger adolescents, 2 young adults, and 2 adolescent girls. Because they thought they would be the best representative for their group. These 6 women were described as outspoken, 4 of them being particularly experienced farmers and were seen as leaders and advocates in their typical behavior within the community. 2 of the group acted as hosts and interviewing the other 4 members. First of all, the groups actually started to revising and memorizing, refresh their memories from the first day, what has been discussed and what was written on the flip chart. Using the notes from the days 1 as a guide, the 6 stakeholders decided what question to ask and what to say in their responses. The flip chart's notes were placed in front of them to carry out the session and make sure they covered everything that wanted to share on the first day as a collective voice. And then the capturing the audio voice, we actually use an open source recording application suitable for that is available in Android operated mobile phones and tablets. We used Samsung Galaxy Tab A and Android tablet with a built-in audio recording app, along with 2 separate portable microphones. Then reviewing and carrying editing were happened in the groups. Stakeholders took about 1.5 an hour to record the whole session. Sometimes they pausing to talk, add information if they missed any points, and they also performed 2 songs. As a part of the entertainment in the radio show format. After recording the session, the facilitator played the whole audio back and sat with stakeholders. We sat with them to discuss what should be kept and what should be discarded. Pauses and repetitions were removed from the final recording. As a result, everyone who participated in the audio recording reviewed and refined the final product. The stakeholder named the radio show name as Chorer Full, which name is in English Chor's Flower. Once the audio recording was completed, we gave it to the participants via flash drive and played it for their large group and community where their participants, family members, relatives, neighbors, and local NGO workers were all present. We use deductive thematic analysis to analyze our data, which involves reading the data, utilizing existing theory or structure and identifying themes. We use the benefit of community voice framework of Saha et al. 2023, which sets out tools to understand the voice of disadvantaged communities for decision making, but also reflects on how well it is captured. We have classified the insights under 4 themes proposed by the BUCV framework, including understanding the context of female farmers, identifying narratives that generate empathy by replacing lived experiences, leveraging local knowledge and abilities, and encouraging trust and buy-in to the development projects. Our women actually shared lots of contextual issues, including social, economic, and climate changes. They also shared political context related to livelihood. They also shared their most common, local context, including marriage, social norms, and reproductive health related issues. In the context, 50% of the women are actually farmers. They shared how their context, like the demographic and climate changes, actually impact on their daily life and livelihoods, as they don't have anything else to do, including agriculture. And 90% of these childless peoples are actually landlords. It is important to note that 60% marriages occur before 80% within these groups of people, which is the 51% the highest among the top 10 for early marriage in the global South Asia. One of the comments I would like to highlight here in terms of their health issues that come from the radio recording, that one woman said, in our daily life, the most serious health problems as a woman faces are during pregnancy. Every woman faces that. Our new mother faces lots of risk of death. We mostly prioritize that. Moreover, after childbirth, the mother and child can both face a lot of problems and the risk of death in the first 40 days. Our women stakeholders also share their key lived experiences of agriculture activities as well as on health. I would like to share one quote that highlights their health lived experiences. My daughter grew up and she got her period. We have no idea about what to do during the menstruation. We mostly use clothes for it, but as mothers, we have to go to the lot of places to work and go to the field. During this time, we don't know what happens to our girls. Our daughter takes care of it by herself. Sometimes our girls have ward discharge, medical term is liquoria. So our women actually share lots of lived experience. If you would like to know more about their experience and course, please read. You can find more information in our paper. They also shared some knowledge challenges they face. For example, I would like to highlight the one quotation. Actually, we cultivate lots of vegetables in our houses, but we still don't know which vegetables contain which nutrition. Some of the sale of vegetable, sometimes we sell all of our fresh vegetables in the market to buy adult vegetables like potatoes. So we produce gourd, tomatoes, brinjals, and vegetables like that, but we sell all the potatoes in the market to buy potatoes. So they are mentioning that they really don't know what nutrients have which vegetables they should eat, because they don't have capacity to buy fruits and pricey vegetables from the market. There are some trust and by built-in issues they've shared, that they feel that government knows most of their issues, but they are reluctant to take essential initiatives. That is also highlighted for the NGOs. For example, government is providing iron tablets now, but they are providing iron tablets in the clinics, which is very far from their community, where girls cannot go there because they have to go to the school. So most of the girls actually facing iron deficiency, anemia. Same happened during the pregnancy. Like their hospital is so remote during the delivery, it's very difficult for them to go to the the local hospital, which happens lots of dangers for their health in terms of death for the child and the mother. The same thing also they shared, like some ignored issues that government and local NGO knows about. They suffer every year in terms of producing good quality of paddy rice because they are spoiled, because the seed they got from the government is not actually working, but nothing was actually taken from by the government. We discussed the fundamental need of stakeholders for a safe place to share, value the letting stakeholders guide method selection, the significance of counter collective narratives, the benefits of participatory audio to hear community voices for democratizing and sustaining development, and design implication of our work with HCI for development. We believe this will lead to more effective, democratized, and sustainable HCI4 outcomes, bringing the advantages of development and technological progress to all, particularly those in disadvantaged groups. We believe that this study will help us to understand how to engage community in a more effective way so that they can share their views, more emancipatory way so that we can capture voice for effective decision making. Thank you.